Hey, what's up, guys? Eric and Jenna here with driverlineup.com, world's okayest steering wheel holder, and Remy, who's down there chomping on a ball. So we're going to get into that video this morning, live stream. Before we do that, and I'm sorry about the hum, this damn reefer's been off for the last 30 minutes and decided to come on right when I was making this video. Anyway, before we get into that, if you find any of our videos helpful, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. If you have questions, you're coming to Prime, thinking about coming to Prime, our cell phone number is in the description below.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
And like the videos.
Our driver code is down there, as well as Barbara Brown, our favorite recruiter's contact information. So,
Awesome.
So today is Friday the 26th.
Yes.
And Prime rolled out their chief legal counsel, general counsel, which is basically the top attorney at Prime, addressed the PRO Act today, which is a federal version of AB 5 in a lot of ways. If you're not familiar with the PRO Act, we highly recommend you look into it. Now, I'm going to heavily defend Prime in this video, so I'm just going to give you a warning on that.
Because there was some blowback that was just absolutely...
I think there was some very unfounded and unfair feedback in the comments. Now, I was driving, so Jenna was reading a lot of it to me.
Well, I'm just going to put it this way, and I'll move on. Burying your heads in the sand because you don't like somebody using labels is not going to keep your job.
Yeah, okay, so...
Like, I just got to throw that out there because that was very upsetting.
First of all, I'm really surprised that Prime took such a public position, but here's the thing you have to understand. Now, they used... First of all, Jen and I are not Republicans or Democrats, and we really don't get very political. But you have to understand that the PRO Act, it doesn't matter which party is currently in power. The PRO Act is a disaster not only for the trucking industry, not only for Prime, it's a disaster for all of us who run small businesses. Jenna and I run a small business. We have a small trucking business. We want to grow and expand that. It's a disaster for that. Like they said in a Prime video, it's a disaster. All realtors are 1099 contractors, all of them.
Your DJs for weddings,
everything.
Your caterers.
As someone brought up last night, farms. If people who go work on farms, farm hands, they're all 1099 contractors. And they're all doing work for companies that do that same kind of work. So it basically makes that illegal. And Prime is, what they did in their live video was not taking a political position. It was taking an economic position. You have to understand that.
And speaking facts.
Yeah, and speaking truth. Like I know for some of you who may have voted certain ways this year, or last year rather, don't like to hear that kind of language. Look, that's fact. I'm sorry. It's fact. It is fact. Again, Jen and I are not Republicans or Democrats. We tend to find both of them revolting and don't believe that either of those parties are looking out for our best interests. That's another issue. The fact is, it's Democrats right now that are pushing this PRO Act. That's fact. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't be a Democrat. I'm just telling, like, that's what Prime said, and some people got upset about it. So what? That's the reality. And this PRO Act would be devastating to Prime's business model, and as a result of that, devastating to how most of us, or all of us, lease drivers, and for Jen and I buying a truck, devastating to our future. So, and
again, not just devastating to Prime. Think big,
the entire
picture.
U.S. economy. It is just astounding, and it's a power grab, and it's all designed to force all of us into W-2 employment so that we have to pay union dues. I don't want to pay union dues. I don't want to be a part of a union. I don't want to be told by a union. I'm happy with what money we make. If you want to join a union, go somewhere that has a union. That's good for you. Go do it. I don't want to. Don't force me to do it. Go work somewhere where there's unions. I'm sorry. I'm very passionate about this, guys, and I'm proud of Prime for having the balls as a mega carrier, one of the largest trucking fleets in the world, to go on YouTube and say that if you care about the future of Prime and your trucking business, or any business, small business that you run as a contractor, you need to contact your representatives, your state, or not your state senators, your federal senators. You do. Again, don't let emotions drive. Don't let party politics and emotions drive you on this.
Yeah,
it's way above.
It's bigger than labels. Think, how are you going to put food on the table for your family if they take away your ability to provide food for your family?
Yeah, I do not want to be an employee. I don't want, company driving is great for a lot of people. It works great for a lot of people. I do not want to be an employee. I don't want to. I'm happy with what I have. If you're happy with what you have, set the party politics aside for a minute and let's go fight this. So anyway, what Prime basically, now the general counsel, I somewhat don't agree with. He's saying that he believes that it won't pass the Senate. I don't believe that this. I think if they want it passed, they're going to pass it. I think they'll remove the filibuster, and where they only need 51 votes, Kamala Harris can come down and be that 51st vote, and they can pass the PRO Act. I don't think that. I don't have faith that the filibuster can keep the PRO Act from passing. And what Prime didn't say, which I'm kind of let down about, but it's okay, because they probably don't know. What they didn't say is, what does it mean if it does pass?
Like, what is their plan?
Yeah, what is the action plan? What do we do? So I'm not saying hit the panic button yet, you guys, because we don't know. But it is fact that, Democrats in the House have already passed it. It is fact that Democrats in the Senate want it passed. It is fact that the Democrat president wants to sign it. That's fact. Okay, so we know that.
And that's not giving labels to speak the truth of who is in support of it and who is not. Like, that's just it is what it is, guys. Look, Republicans push a lot of horseshit legislation too, and we should be opposed to that. We should always be opposed to shit legislation. It doesn't matter which party is supporting or opposing. Like, don't let yourself be driven by that. Like, what is good for our country and what is bad for our country, and this legislation is bad. It's not good. We are an innovative country. When we're allowed to start our own businesses and come up with ideas, like Jen and I, we want to start a fleet. We want to expand. We want to be entrepreneurial. That's possible because of the economic system we have. So we should be opposed to anything that threatens that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the label is. So and again, we're very passionate about this because we love what we do and we want to continue doing it. We love the company that we're contracted with to do that. They've been very good to us. Prime's been very good to us. It's been a great opportunity. It continues to be a great opportunity. And I think that we should admire Prime for fighting for us, because that's what that was. That's Prime saying, look, we all have a good thing going here. If you want to make your voice heard and keep this from happening, this is what you should do. That's all they're saying. They're not saying vote this way or that way or choose this candidate or that candidate. They didn't. There was nothing like that. It was just, you need to call your senators and tell them that you like what you do, that you make good money. You don't want that to change. That's all it was. So anyway, I was really surprised. I don't think any other that I know of, any other mega carrier has come out and said, this is very bad and we need to stop it. So maybe they have. I don't know. I gotta tell you guys, like, Jen and I are proud of Prime for looking out for our best interests.
and being open and transparent with us.
Because again, it takes courage to come out and speak such an unpopular opinion to protect us.
Yeah, so
like,
and I think that all of you, now this is just my opinion, but and we're all entitled to our opinion. I think that all of you should feel the same way. I believe set emotions aside for a second. I know that politics is very divisive and it's very emotional. This is economic. It is strictly straight economic. And we all should want Prime to be as profitable as possible. We should want them to make as much money as possible because that's job security for us. And if that gets crushed, if that gets torn up and reorganized and restructured.
And again, though, bigger, much larger picture. Like, more than just Prime. If this passes, how do you think you're going to afford food when the farms are having to pay for more labor? Like, they're having to pay twice as much for labor. How do you think certain products, like the economic impact of what this will do on a much larger scale than a lot of us tend to look at? Because it's human nature to look at things of, does it affect me or does it not affect me? Like, when you see something and you go, oh, well, that really sucks, but that's not, I'm not involved.
Yeah,
this isn't one of those situations where you're going to walk away unscathed. Just because it may not affect you as a company driver, just because it may not affect you in a particular moment in time, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have that cost passed down through other industries and things like that. Like, so it's again,
everybody,
big
guys.
Picture.
It's everything. It's like I think they said journalism, war correspondents, people who go, take photographs and things like that. Like they're all independent contractors. Everybody's every sector of the U.S. economy has independent contractors. Those people, like a photojournalist, they want to float around. They're independent. They want to.
Most of them getting the best coverage you've ever seen.
Yeah.
are freelancers.
Contractors. They'll sell to Getty. They'll sell to CNN. They'll sell to Fox. Sell to any. They don't want to be an employee for making $20 an hour to go over into a war. Like, anyway, it's. The PRO Act is not a good thing, you guys. It's not a good thing. And I know that a lot of times we feel like we're being ripped off in some ways, and that's true. In a lot of ways, we are. It may not be. Oh yeah, please. It may not be Prime ripping us off. It could be lumpers. It could be, customers holding us for 20, 30 hours and only paying 8 hours of detention. A lot of company drivers for other companies get dicked around. Yes, there are some things that are not right about it, and I wish those could be fixed. But we choose. Yeah, this is not the answer. We choose to be in this seat, holding this steering wheel.
The solution to that mosquito is not shooting it with a bazooka.
Yeah, say this all the time. They see a mosquito, and this is just government generally. See a mosquito and then fire a freaking bazooka at it, and it's like, what about all the things behind the damn mosquito? So anyway, Prime. I highly encourage you to go watch it. It wasn't very long. They didn't go into I think he gave a pretty good explanation of it. One of the things that did concern me is that he talked about how AB5, the trucking industry, is finding a legal avenue around it because the trucking industry is regulated federally. So therefore, their argument is that it's illegal for California to regulate the trucking industry. I hadn't heard that explanation. That was very helpful. But also, what it did explain is that you can't fight for that kind of an exception federally because this is federal regulation. So, it's it's scary, guys.
So something else I would want to say is that if this is the first video you've ever watched on our channel, I apologize.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I also don't, because you needed to hear it. Like, my point of bringing that up is that you will see, if you've been watching our videos, that we are absolutely telling the truth when we say we are not political. We don't dive into this kind of stuff. We avoid this kind of stuff. This is why we got into trucking, least political
we just
industry.
want to be out here doing our own thing, being left alone.
But yeah,
I think we were really rubbed the wrong way when we saw a couple people
burying their heads in the sand because they didn't like labels.
Letting emotions drive them and choosing party politics over livelihood. I mean, and this goes to a broader problem. I gotta shut this video down here in a second. This is a broader problem, you guys. When we can set the party bullshit aside, we all agree on so much. We're not at each other's throats over this or that, or this issue or that issue, or marriage or abortion, or all, pot being legal, or like we're all kind of like on the same page, really. If you sit down and have coffee or beer and get to know one another, it's this emotional jump to, well, I'm this party or I'm that party, that prohibits us from being able to stand together on things like the PRO Act. I mean, like, this should be this should be this is like, we should, if you're a company driver and you value what you have at Prime and what Prime is as a company, you should be opposed to this. If you are a lease operator, you should absolutely be opposed to it. So so we're all on the same boat here. Yeah, we're all in the same boat. So anyway, guys, I apologize. Well, yeah, like Jenna said, we kind of apologize, but don't. You won't get videos like this very often. I just wanted to say that thank you, Prime. I know you'll take some blowback for it, but I don't see Prime as a political. It's not a it doesn't ever take political positions. This is an economic position, and I want to do my part to make my observation of that known, that they didn't say anything political. They said something economic.
Yeah, putting chicken strips on the plates of small children across America is not a political position.
Yeah, it's an economics livelihood. We want Prime to thrive, and Prime wants to thrive, and that's good for all of us. So so you don't get upset for them wanting to defend that and protect that. So anyway, all right, guys, would love to know your thoughts and opinions. I know some of you probably may not agree, and that's fine. We can have disagreements, but we'd love to know your thoughts. So let us know. Check in with you guys soon. Thanks so much. Be safe, make good decisions, and as always, drive to thrive.